Shalom.
Hi, Shalom.
Welcome back. Has it been a while?
I guess.
I can't even remember the last time we did
It's been a few weeks,
video.
I think.
We've actually recorded a video. We just have been a little weirded out about posting videos so far. Anyways, well, maybe we'll talk about that. But hey, we're going to talk about this book right here. We mention this book all the time. We always quote from it. It's amazing. It's by Thomas Short. It's a general chronological history of the air, weather, seasons, and meteors in sundry places and different times, more particularly for the space of 250 years. And it keeps going. I love the titles of these old books because they're going for a whole page.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about this book. We always quote from this because it's amazing when dealing with this idea of the millennial kingdom happening and things of revelation taking place. A lot of times people who don't believe that the millennial kingdom has happened, or we're in the short season or whatever, if they don't believe we're in that time frame, it's usually because they believe of some form of history that they've been taught. And I would say we're all having to go towards history to figure this out. The reason being is because it is in scripture what's laid out to prophetically happen, but the timeline is not necessarily laid out perfectly.
Right.
There is a general timeline, of course, we can find in Revelation 20, but in other passages. But you understand, it's not like I think I'm saying it right, but it's like you can't. We're all having to venture out and find out did something really happen? Did something happen in these last 2,000 years, or has it been 2,000 years? You know. And so I think that's even all of us are looking towards history. So even someone who doesn't believe in the millennial kingdom is assuming, or doesn't believe it has happened, is assuming that the history they've been taught is real.
True.
And I honestly, I think the burden is on both of us to prove that. Most people, people that are pre-millennials who believe that it hasn't happened,
Right.
believe it's still in the future. To me, that's the easy way out. To say a futurist idea of revelation or of prophecy is the easy way, because you really just can say, "Oh, that's going to happen in the future." Whereas our position, we have to prove it. We have to be able to say, "Okay, I think this happened. Here's why." And so.
And there's only so much, like what you were just saying, scriptural text, I guess, that would point to, like I think of cities that are in ruins today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think we can go to the prophets and find where Yah says that He will destroy these cities, and you can look today and see evidence or remains of these cities being destroyed.
Absolutely.
And so I think there's where you can connect some of the dots of not just having this idea of a futuristic. Like a futuristic idea of prophecy, but also, if we are compelled to believe that maybe it's already happened, that some of these events have already happened, and maybe most of Revelation 20 has already happened, then you have to go deeper. You have to expand your research criteria.
Yeah.
Because it's history. It's
Sure.
history to us. So there's only so much within the canon, the extra text that will lead us there. And there's nothing wrong with studying out history and understanding and wanting to understand history better. Just like we thought we knew, that we thought we knew that's the shape of the earth. We use that as an example. And then when you find out that you've been lied to about that, you go to scripture, and scripture absolutely has a lot of evidence about what the shape of the earth looks like. But there's, like you said, there's proofs, there's science supporting it's a ball, there's science, supporting. So, some people will just, concede and say, it's a ball, or concede and say it's not a ball. And so I think that's what we're doing here. We're saying, wow, we're looking at, there's just historical evidence. And the more you read, I think the more you're pulling on this string. I say you as in you. You're pulling on the string, and you're finding cartographers, historians, people that lived in these possible millennial kingdom and post-millennial kingdom days.
Yeah.
That were searching for paradise.
You could definitely see there was something else going on that we're not told. And this is, by the way, this is history. It's just not mainstream history. It's just not Wikipedia. You get on Wikipedia, they're going to tell you a narrative. Or now AI is going to tell you a narrative.
And that's partly why we're worried about posting on here.
Yeah,
If we want to go off.
Yeah, let me
a
just
little
go
bit.
real quick on that subject since I mentioned it. But we have said this before. There will come a time when you won't see us on here anymore. That time is getting very close.
We think that, yeah.
We think so. Uh, I would consider. I would. It's something we want to consider with prayer because I think there is a benefit to us being on here. Not for us, but hopefully we are able to be a light. And be salt upon the earth. That's our job. That's what we actually want to do, and we want to be saints. I say this every single video. And it's getting to the point now where, like we have to weigh whether or not we have to weigh being a light versus our protection. Protection for me, protection for my family. And I think this is what the prophets, what the disciples, all the followers of Messiah, all the followers of Yah throughout history in Scripture had to do. We have evidence, tons of evidence of them fighting, and being a voice right up until the end. But we also have evidence of even Yeshua himself telling the people he healed to be quiet. Be quiet. Do not go around telling everyone about me because they're going to come and kill me. He knows, and he wanted more time.
Yeah.
And even times when he left cities because they were trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Same thing you see with Paul. Also in the ascension of Isaiah, you have Isaiah and Obadiah going up to a mountain to hide. Actually, they left Jerusalem, went to Bethlehem. Then the wickedness got worse in Bethlehem, and they ended up leaving and living on a mountain away from everyone.
Yeah. And I don't think we're this isn't coming from a spirit of fear. I mean, maybe probably a little bit of fear.
A little bit of fear, yeah. If we're being honest, I think there's a little bit of fear there.
And it's not like we have a large, account or anything like that. I think it's just being aware of the times that we're in and seeing how quickly technology has escalated and how quickly artificial intelligence has escalated, and seeing how easy it is to manipulate people and to create a situation of somebody that is not necessarily true. I mean, they are able to. Go ahead. Yeah.
We saw this coming. I think we've talked about it on here before many times.
Yeah.
So we have seen this coming, but it's getting to a point where we might need to make a choice. And too is that a lot of the people too, we're having some interesting things happen with just people being attacked. So there's a lot going on right now. So I'm just telling y'all that this might end. We'll probably let you know if it does, but it's been great. Getting to know a lot of y'all. If you do see a video of us out there and it doesn't seem to be us, just look at the hands. Okay, I don't know that everyone knows to look at the hands for AI images, but just look at the hands. The AI has not figured out how to do hands, and I'm not sure. It could be even the right hand. It could have something to do with a right hand devoted to the commands. I'm not sure. Like Deuteronomy 6, the mark of Yah being on the right hand and on the forehead. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that entails, but we got on that subject. We were actually not going to talk about that, but I guess I kind of brought it up. So
well, you did, yeah, in the very beginning. So I thought we would circle back around to it, but because you did bring up just a really good point about how I think you can't trust what you read online. I don't think anymore, and necessarily you're not even getting Google results. You're getting an AI overview. We actually were trying to figure out how to turn off AI on Google when we do search result, like when we do like a search engine sort of search, and it's nearly impossible to turn off AI, which is interesting. But all that to say, I think what's been fascinating is over the last year or two is the number of books that you've been led to, because I think a lot of people would be like, okay, where do you even start with trying to understand true history, this alternative history that could actually be the real accurate timeline of events? Where do you start? And it's kind of hard. I mean, I don't even know that you could even really tell anybody like where to start. I mean, this is a good
This is a great place to start if you just want to question the narrative. This book, so you can read this free online. I think it's archive.org. Look up Thomas Short's book right here. It was written in 1749, and it's a composition of a lot of different historians. So he didn't just write all this; he got all these historians, put them all together, and basically put all the crazy events that have happened in the last 3,000 years, something like that, 4,000 maybe. Just crazy events, amazing things. I would just, this is a great place to start if you want to understand history that's been hidden from you. I didn't hear any of this in school.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of this from like Google or Wikipedia or anything.
And it goes against the
It goes,
current
yes,
narrative.
it goes against a lot of narratives. I think it's an amazing book. By the way, real quick before we get into it, this right here, history, millennial kingdom, maybe even calendars, a lot of things. I'm thinking about other things. This is dessert, okay? It's dessert for your meal, all right? Some people don't need to eat a lot of dessert. They don't need any more dessert. Some people have a sweet tooth and want to eat their dessert before their meal. You know, what I'm saying is this is not the meat of the word. I think this is incredible stuff. I absolutely love this stuff. But in our studies, just you and I, we are constantly going through the Torah. Right now we're in Matthew, but we're constantly going through the Torah. I was in Zacharias this morning, and then we went to Matthew. Just a lot of different things. Okay, so we are in what we would know as the canon. For any of those who are questioning, because I know there's people who are going to say they never talk about scripture or whatever. We are in the canon. We love extra biblical
We just
text.
did their whole Daniel study. So
Yeah, we just went through a whole
like
Daniel
a
study.
6-month Daniel study.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, the Torah is the meat of the word, okay? It's literally the whole duty of man. It's not a burden. It's an absolutely amazing thing. Once you find it and find out the definition for sin, you learn how to get rid of sin. How do you know how to get rid of sin unless you know what sin is? Yeah. Sin is transgression of the Torah. Okay, so you have to know the Torah in order to rid sin out of your life. Which, by the way, most of y'all listening right now already keep the Torah. Okay, you already keep the Torah. It's okay. Just let go and keep the rest of it. It's amazing. Okay, but you already know not to murder. You already know not to commit adultery. You already know not to drink blood. You already know not to have relations with your family members. I mean, you know these things, okay?
You know tithing is good.
You know tithing is good. Yes, all these things we know are commandments that we should keep, okay? So you're already doing it, all right? Just do a few more things. Yeah. You know, take the pork off your fork, you know. Who says that?
Me? I said that.
You said that.
I always hashtag no pork on my fork.
That's right. That's right. Stop eating pork.
Hashtags were a thing.
Stop eating pork. Worship on Shabbat. It's an incredible thing. The seventh day, man was not made for the Sabbath. Sabbath was made for man. Right. But your body needs it. That's what I was trying to say. You were created by the Creator. The Creator created Sabbath for the creation. Like, it's literally for you. It's for your body.
And He did it.
And He did it. It's amazing, guys. Okay? Sabbath is incredible. Yeah. The feast days are awesome. Why not camp out for 7 days? It's incredible. Yeah. Okay? Why not have a bunch of feasts? Amazing feasts to honor the Father. Yeah. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and you were saying like this is dessert. And it really is. Not to say that, if you come to the truth, you come to the knowledge of the truth of Torah, truly understanding what it means to be holy, and you've said this before, in the end holiness matters. But if you come to the truth, right, like you did, I mean, a lot of these things, conspiracies brought you to the truth. But once you found the truth, those conspiracies didn't matter as much. You come back around to them and study them out, and flat earth and stuff like that. But I mean, those were the things that kind of led you here. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. But I think if you're new, I don't want to say new to Torah, but if you're new to following the Father's instructions and you're just overwhelmed, because when we came to this truth, it was just so different. I mean, it's amazing how in 8 years, so much has changed. What was important and what mattered 8 years ago, in my opinion, was not what are we on the right calendar. It wasn't so much about being sure we were on the right calendar, but just doing the feast days, we weren't so caught up in trying to fully understand prophecy and getting kind of hooked into this millennial kingdom idea and all these things. It was great, but it wasn't like, it's not the bread and butter, you know. And it is a good thing to study out and to research, and I do think it can draw you closer. It can help you understand the connection of prophecy to, you know, revelation. It's all intertwined, and a lot of it starts making more sense. I think since we've come to the idea that millennial kingdom's over, it's helped me personally.
Sure, the prophets now make a lot more sense.
They make a lot more sense to me personally.
Still don't understand them. I mean, there's still some things, well,
but
not
they're
some,
not so
many
over
things.
my head as they were in church.
Yeah.
And understanding, you know, and just so it is a good, like, it's, you know, we've you know, said like it's just one giant puzzle. But if you haven't even read through the whole Torah and the prophets and the Psalms, I encourage you to just, you know, like, put all this down for a bit and go back to the foundation of, you know, the whole of Scripture, like just reading Scripture, because it is so much more important. Holiness is what is important, and that is what matters in the end when we stand before our Heavenly Father, and we have to give an account for our lives. But you know, what will be counted unto us as righteousness or unrighteousness, and fruitful works, you know, and fruitful words, you know, or the fact that we were right about the calendar and that we fought for something that in the end didn't really matter anyways, because we didn't love. We didn't have love for our neighbor. So I don't know. I don't even know where I was really going.
So we say all that to say that
let's dive into this.
This is so much fun. Like, I love this.
It's fun.
I'm not looking to be right. I love this stuff.
Yeah.
And if Yeshua shows up tomorrow, I've said this before, if he shows up tomorrow in the sky and says, "Welcome to my millennial kingdom," I'm all about it. I do not care that I was wrong.
Absolutely.
But I think it already happened. But anyways, all right.
Here we go.
So we're going to just kind of go through this and read this. And we're going to start.
And it is in Old English. So if you start reading this, just know you've got to.
Yeah, it is in Old English. It's crazy. We're going to start we're going to start in the Common Era. Okay. So, you know, AD time frame. But I did want to say, because I was looking, it does have like about 1,000, well, it goes to 2,000 years before Yeshua. It's not as much space. It's only about that much dedicated before Yeshua. But I did want to read this. I thought this was incredible. It's talking about the wickedness of Sodom and Gomorrah. It says it was in 2107 BC, Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. It's a plain where it flooded like an earthly paradise. Was first inflamed by lightning and burnt with bitumen. So it's flooded like an earthly paradise. Well, yeah, I guess you can read that.
Just read the whole thing?
No, just right there. This right here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just this section.
Yeah, I thought this was just a really cool thing before we start.
Okay. For the unnatural wickedness of Sodom and its 3 neighboring cities, the pleasant and fruitful plain where it stood, like an earthly paradise, was first inflamed by lightning, which set fire to the bitumen, of which that earth was full, and was afterwards overflowed by the waters of Jordan, which diffused themselves there, and formed the Dead Sea, called also the lake Asphaltes, because of the bitumen. Asphaltites, which because of the bitumen with which it abounds.
Okay, this is crazy. I mean, I just thought this was amazing because it's saying that Sodom and Gomorrah was a valley like paradise, and when it was destroyed, it was filled in by the Jordan, and now it's called the Dead Sea. So what we know is the Dead Sea is Sodom and Gomorrah. I just thought that was amazing, at least according to this. Yeah. And have you seen? I've seen some videos of them collecting bitumen from the ocean. From the Dead Sea, they actually collect bitumen, which is like a tar.
Oh, really?
Like substance, but they collect it it foams up like on the surface of the water, and they actually collect it and dry it out. And it's like a dried thing that you can burn.
Yeah.
It's like a tar thing. But I mean, why is that coming out of the Dead Sea? It's kind of crazy, but I thought that was amazing. Anyways, that's just food for thought right there.
Okay, so
where is Sodom and Gomorrah? Maybe it's current day Dead Sea.
So how do you want me to read this?
Well, I think we're just gonna kind of flip through it. We're not obviously not gonna read this whole book. I think it would benefit anyone to buy this book or read it free online and just go through the whole thing. I've read this entire book, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Especially when you get into the 500s and the 1400s, which we believe is the bookends of the millennial kingdom, the beginning of the millennial kingdom, somewhere in the 500s with the darkening of the sun, and 536 and Justinian's first reign, and then also in the 1500s with the Black Plague, which does appear to be a resurrection event. But that's not what this is about. But anyways, there's just some amazing things that, and really a lot of focus is dedicated to that time frame.
Okay.
So
So do you mean to start in the 43rd year?
well, just
Of
we're just
Augustus?
reading
Oh,
what
right
I've
here.
yeah. So
What you've highlighted.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, so and this would be this is 829 AD.
2980. So we're
Okay.
starting with AD chronology. It starts with the year 6. It's the first thing that it talks about, but then it goes on. We're just going to kind of jump through the things we've highlighted.
Okay.
So,
All right. So in 29 AD, am I saying that correctly, or AD 29? Okay. An earthquake in Judea happened, which would have been
probably the crucifixion,
Crucifixion.
yeah. So he cites all the historians that cite this, so I think it's pretty amazing. There's a historian citing there's an earthquake in Judea.
just here.
I think what's also amazing is it does talk about in 70 AD. Of course, 70 AD, we know the temple was destroyed. It says a siege. It's actually saying 72 AD, a siege in Jerusalem from April the 14th to the calends of July. Out of one gate were carried forth to be buried 1,580,000. So 1,580,000 Jews. It says 600,000 carcasses of the poor were thrown out of the gates. So we have possibly 2 million people. And we don't get that I don't think in Josephus or anything, but 2 million people dying in 70 AD during the siege in Jerusalem. I think that's crazy. I mean, that was a big event, you know?
Right. You just point. Tell me where to read. Here, in the second year of Titus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Read that. I mean, it's incredible.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I just don't know. I mean, I could read the whole book, so it's so good.
Yeah.
In the second year of Titus happened a most extraordinary
Conflagration.
That's the actual word. I just don't know what it means. Of Vesuvius. Is that right?
Yeah.
A great companies of men of unusual size, like giants, were seen walking and conversing night and day on the mountain, adjacent country, and neighboring cities. They fought sometimes in the air. The noise of their trumpets was heard. The sea roared. The sky echoed back its terrible sound. A noise as though mountains fell down together. Withal a great heat and drought. The plains were burnt up. Suddenly came great earthquakes, a noise underground like thunder. Prodigious rocks were thrown out.
So this is obviously the eruption of Vesuvius during the year of Titus. I think this is crazy. It said they saw giants walking around.
Yeah, conversing.
Just wild stuff. I don't know.
I think you should just read because I think it's.
Well, yeah. It says. So it says, and this was in 167. So we just skip. You know, it just kind of goes through the years here, but it's called the first plague. It says, or as others were in 176 in the 8th year of Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus, began the first. Sorry, it's Old English. First general plague over all the world after our Savior. Goes on from there. There's a huge famine. If it's called the first plague, there's actually 3 plagues before the 500s, and then there's like some later on. There's earthquakes surrounding the entire earth. It happened in the whole earth. There's 3 of them. So some, I know like a lot of people that are kind of against the Millennial Kingdom, especially on YouTube. I know there's some accounts that are kind of speaking out against it. Their biggest question is like, when did this happen? When did this, vial open? Or when was this trumpet blown? I'm like, it's literally here.
Yeah.
Like we have historical accounts of worldwide earthquakes destroying everything. We have historical accounts of the sun darkening. We have historical accounts of 7 suns in the sky. Like insane things that if it was happening today, people would be freaking out saying the end is here.
Exactly.
And they were saying the same thing then.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Just flip.
Let's see. Where else? You know this one. Okay, so this would be what time frame is that? AD.
All this is AD.
Okay, yeah. The greatest and most general earthquake that happened, the earth in many places opened and swallowed up towns and villages. Many and innumerable calamities fell out both by sea and land. Some springs were dried up and new ones burst out where never had been any. Great trees were extirpated by the roots. Mountains became valleys, and valleys rose up into mountains. The sea threw out its dead fishes and overflowed many islands. Ships were left on the dry land in the midst of the sea. Bithynia, Hellespont, and both, I don't know what that is, Phrygias, were afflicted.
So there's a great earthquake. I think it's the same earthquake.
In Constantinople in 446, the earthquake cast down a wall of 57 towers. It continued for months and traveled all over the world. There was another one in 450.
So you had an earthquake, or what? Two worldwide earthquakes could be the same event. They're only separated by 20 years or 30 years. So it could just be an error in the timeline. But I mean, we have two worldwide earthquakes that happened. I think that's pretty crazy. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, such as survived. So it says in the same time frame, around 454, from the drought, the bad food ensued a plague with an inflammation the first 2 days. So the bodies of the sick swelled. They lost their eyes. Wow. Had a cough at the same time, which killed them the third day, for no cure could be found. Delirium and watchings attended it. Those that survived had manna rained down on them, the same as the Israelites had in the wilderness.
Wow, this is the hidden stores of manna. We read about this in Revelation. The churches, I can't remember which church. We could look it up, but y'all know it. The church that remains to the end will get the hidden storehouse of manna. I mean, this is pretty incredible. We have you have people feeding on manna just like the Israelites. There is, I will say this, like around the 500s, and then in the 13th century and the 1400s, there is there are diseases. They didn't call it the Black Plague at the time, or the bubonic plague or anything. They called it other names, but these plagues that had happened were causing the flesh to rot off, people's tongues to rot out of their mouth, and their eyes to basically dissolve inside their eye sockets. This is written in Zacharias.
That it would happen.
So Zacharias 14. I think it's in Zacharias 14, but I know it's at the end of Zacharias. It's written in many places. I mean, I know we kind of have that idea of Indiana Jones and whatever, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, that first one, we have that kind of idea of it kind of happening all at once, but it seems to be that this did happen, that we did have an event where the enemies of Yahweh, literally their flesh is rotting off and melting off their bodies. If we make it hopefully we'll make it to the 14th century, it says that they would only live 5 days at the most once they caught this disease. 5 days at the most, sometimes even 24 hours. There are writings that say that even the doctors, when they would visit the sick, it would be likely that if they stayed all night, both would be dead in the morning. The doctor and the sick person would be dead by morning. It was that fast, and it literally rotted their flesh off their face, off their bodies, It was crazy. I mean, it says in here, and there's other writings, it says a third of the world died by this plague. Third of the world. 2 plagues, 6th century, and then 13th century. 2 plagues, that a third of the world died. Pretty fascinating.
Wow.
Dude, we don't talk about this.
And
why is this not in church? If I was reading Revelation and saw that famine and things like this, a third of the world died, I'm like, boom, this happened. But I didn't know that. No one taught me this. And
yet we
certainly,
think an event that happened 5 years ago was like...
Yeah. Like, oh no, that's the plague. That's what's in here, And so, and I do think Baruch...
Not saying people didn't die, but...
I know, but it's like in Second Baruch, I think it talks about these events that are going to happen, and it puts the world in 12 parts, and these events are going to keep happening. But the 12th part is a mixture of all these events together, to where the people living in that time will not understand where they're at in the timeline.
Man.
I think that's probably it. Okay, can you hear
Well,
me?
no, this is just like
That's amazing,
there was a comet and an earthquake in 454, but it looks like a star of a prodigious size appeared over Britain. To a whole radius was joined a fiery sword like a dragon, and out of its mouth went 2 radii, one extended over France, the other over Ireland.
So there is a
Wow.
star with a sword, probably a comet of some sorts, over Britain that extends to Ireland and to France. That's huge. Let's keep going.
Yep. You just tell me. I don't know where. I mean, I could read any of this stuff. In 538, well, for example, 532, a comet appeared for 3 weeks in the sky.
Wow.
That's insane. On the 14th day before the calendar of March, the sun was eclipsed from morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is that in the
538?
Okay, so that might be in Italy. Might
Yeah.
still be talking about that.
Earthquake, man. Earthquake traveled over. Wow. Okay. There was a terrible and great plague over all the world in 554 that had never been paralleled or recorded in history.
This is one of the plagues I was talking about in
Can I-
545. Yeah, read that.
Demons in human shape appeared to many, and when they fell upon them, they imagined themselves struck by some man, and the disease quickly fell on them.
And you see this with the Black Plague as well. Skeletons being seen, demons being seen. That's where we get the Grim Reaper with the sickle in his hand. Same thing. They were seeing this guy reaping, harvesting the grapes, just like written in Revelation. And we see this all over. It's like they were seeing demons. And I think we even talked about that with COVID. Just like it's something demonic about it. You know, when I know some of y'all probably had it, but there is some demonic presence with it.
Let's see, 563. I don't know where this was. This plague. There was a plague that happened. I don't know if this is what you're talking about. They died on the third day.
Well, because this is a different historians put together, a lot of these plagues are talking about the same thing, and they're kind of separated by a few years or whatever. But
the fascinating thing here was that there was the appearance of the plague was preceded by two suns that appeared at the same time, and then other times the sun was completely darkened. Comet appeared a whole year together, darting forth its beams like swords. There's the swords from the comet happening again. Did we read about who is that? Emperor
Justinian.
That's Justinian. Okay. So by this time reigned Justinian whose reign the sun for the greatest part of a year gave so little light that it was but equal to the light of the moon, the sky being clear without clouds or any interposing bodies. Is that right?
Yeah.
After which followed a great famine.
So this is a big event. This is probably where we're seeing the Joel 2, the rest of Joel 2 fulfilled. Maybe this is the sun darkening and there's many writings about this. This is very historic, I guess, technically. There's a ton of history written about this. I'm reading something now. I can't remember the guy's name, but he's writing about this. He actually says Justinian was a demon that was ruling Rome. Very interesting. Wow. I actually want to do a whole video about Justinian. I think it's possibly another Antichrist figure. Not possibly. I think he's totally Antichrist figure. But during this time, the sun went dark for 18 months. And it said it wasn't even as bright as the moon when it's full. It said it emitted a blue hue. By the way, I haven't found any historical evidence. And if you look this up, Google is going to tell you that it's because of a volcano eruption. I have not found anybody. I've read, I think, all the historians I can find on this subject. I think there's about probably 7 or 8 of them on this subject, and I have not found a single one telling us that a volcano erupted. And these guys were smart. They weren't stupid. I mean, these guys, the way they wrote, very smart, very eloquent.
If it happened,
they would have known there's a volcano. This is what's caused it. But Google's telling us, oh no, it's the volcanic ash in the sky. It darkened the sun. No, I think they were saying it was actually. They said there was no clouds in the sky.
Yeah.
This historian I'm reading, I can't remember his name. It starts with a P. It starts with a P. I can't remember his name. But anyways, he's saying there's no clouds in the sky. So there's nothing.
Yeah.
No clouds, no volcanic ash like Google's telling us. Literally the sun stopped giving its light. The moon became blood red and didn't give her light. And it didn't, he also writes that the moon wouldn't come up when she was supposed to. She was totally changed. Which is also a sign of the Antichrist as well. The Antichrist was to have rule over the sun and the moon. And it was also something Justinian was doing. He was trying to control weather. He was trying to control the heavenly bodies as well.
Yeah.
So we need to talk more about that.
About him,
It's incredible. Read about Justinian.
So during this same time, this terrible plague that invaded all of Italy, it was basically, I don't know. It's sad too when you read the accounts, but it says that there was a piercing groan of miserable dying persons. This was counted in 565. The few that humanity prevailed they had to bury their dead friends. Such died and laid unburied. No whisper of shepherds or cattle ran at large. There was no corn being reaped. Grapes weren't being gathered or pressed. It says in the night hour, the warrior's trumpet was sounded and the noise of an approaching army heard. But it was a phantom and none appeared. That's interesting.
That's interesting too.
I
Keep
don't
going.
know.
There's just
There was
little things,
flood in Rome in 588. 2/3 of the people died. I mean, you know, we talk about war and famine and floods and catastrophic events and unparalleled diseases that we see. I mean, you know, an article comes out and it's first, you know, there's 2 people have like smallpox or 2 people have some, you know, something,
Yeah.
and we're like flipping out over it right now. Imagine if this was your newspaper and you were reading this.
Yeah.
You know, you were reading this, you know, I don't know, in Greece somewhere, and you're reading that this was happening. Yeah, it's just like it's just like there's real fear and terror going on here.
Yeah, the world was ending. Like this was literally the world's being destroyed. It's the end of the age. It was literally being destroyed. This is kind of crazy. I just read this. It says this was in 652 AD. The earthquake, which continued 30 or 33 days in Palestine. So they had in Palestine an earthquake that continued 30 days. I mean, that's pretty crazy. There's many accounts where there's 7 sons, 3 sons.
Fire rained down from heaven for 7 days. In constant. Oh, right here. Okay, yep. In 688, it rained blood for 7 days. They're all of Britain.
And milk.
Whoa,
Oh,
no,
no,
milk,
cheese.
cheese, and butter turned to blood.
Oh, that's crazy.
A bubonic plague raged in Constantinople.
I mean, see, this is an instance where you have the bubonic plague before.
The bubonic plague.
Yeah, before the bubonic plague. I mean, this
like
is
a
not.
precursor.
Yeah, I think we really need to dig in these books and not trust Google because it's telling us bubonic plague is in 13th century or 14th century, which we have instances where the bubonic plague was before the Millennium Kingdom as well, anywhere from 5 to 600s. Anyway, it's interesting too. That's where we get the word bobos or boo-boos. When we get hurt, it's from the bobos. They called them bobos, which were these boils that would come up. And this is where
through the bubonic plague.
Yeah, through the bubonic
That's
plague.
crazy. When you told me that, I was like, what?
Yeah, and that ashes to ashes, we all fall down, kind of, you know, nursery
All
rhyme.
these nursery rhymes, yeah. Did I read about that in March? 7 days together, yeah, fire rained down. Okay. Okay.
I don't know where I got that. Jerusalem was destroyed by an earthquake in 747. I read that earlier. I don't really know why I wrote that unless I found it somewhere else.
Yeah, Mesopotamian split in 752.
Yeah, 752, Mesopotamia split, gulf 2 miles broad, opened the earth, and out of it arose white earth. Crazy.
Now this is fascinating. So in October of 763, 764, a rigorous bitter frost that lasted until February. It was not only in Europe, but all over the north and the east, and the main sea was frozen near the poles. Snow laid 20 feet deep upon the ice. It killed vegetables, sea animals. And then after that, there was a total eclipse of the moon for 6 hours. Oh my goodness. Who is that? Constantine? Is that Constantine?
Yeah, it's a different Constantine.
In his time in 775. The middle of August, there were 6 days of darkness.
6 days of darkness. I mean, imagine if that happened now. Like, we talk about our time now. That was nothing compared to this time.
I know.
This time it was like Yah's vengeance on the earth. Like, people were getting rooted out.
It was absolutely, yeah. It was, yeah, yes.
Well, it was the tares. I think it was seriously the tares being rooted out from the wheat. During really mainly before the Millennial Kingdom, after Messiah, before the Millennial Kingdom, but even during the Millennial Kingdom, you still had it happening. I mean, we're in the 800s right now. It's still crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just reading, like, in the 780s, famine and plague grievously afflicted France. Blood rain from heaven sprung up from the earth. Strange fiery meteors were seen in the air in England, followed by more famine. I mean, it's just like, I don't even know.
I read about this too. The Euphrates was frozen. Completely frozen, and when it broke up, when it finally thawed, this was from another historian that thawed, and they had giant things of ice were carrying away whole towns. Like, they're flowing, they thawed and broke, and they're flowing through. Even the Mediterranean was talking about being frozen. Crazy.
Great. Oh, here you go. Here's a good one. Great swarms of locusts
From
Africa infested Italy. More eclipses of the sun and moon that were ever known in so few years. This was in 815. A black spot appeared in the sun for 7 days together, and a comet was seen in Sagittarius. Wow.
I mean, it just keeps going. Hopefully this is interesting. I think, like, I would just recommend anyone get this book. I think it's incredible. There's so many things that we can kind of go off of this book and do our research and find out what was happening during this time.
Yeah, I mean, every page is just stricken with, I don't know.
Destructive events.
Destructive events and people dying, animals dying. I mean, and yeah, you could say, well, that's happening today. Not like this.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my goodness. I don't even know where, I mean, the sun was darkened, became like blood in 937.
The sun was like blood.
Yeah, the sun was like, I'm saying that casually, but it's only because I've read this book.
I know, that would just blow my mind if that happened today.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I wouldn't even know what to do. I think we'd just be in our hands and knees just in prayer and just repenting and begging out for mercy and to just, like, save us.
And what's that verse? There's a verse that says, be not dismayed by the signs in the skies like the Gentiles are.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm not saying, I think you should be repentant, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's crazy. Like, I think people were freaking out at this time, you know?
Excessive drought. I mean, there was just comets being seen, fearful earthquakes. Now we're approaching 1,000. It says this year had many prodigies, an earthquake, a comet with a long and terrible tail like lightning. On the 19th of January, it fell on the earth with so great a light that not only those in the fields, but people in houses were smitten by it. For the I don't know what fissure of the heavens sensibly vanishing, the serpent above appeared.
The serpent above appeared? What?
The two balls of fire which fell, one fell upon I don't know. The other one fell beyond
Magdeburg?
Yeah.
Another beyond the Albus? Wow, that's crazy. I don't know why I didn't. That's amazing. The serpent above appeared. There's another time in here, I don't know, we might get to it. We might have passed it. I mean, there's so much. I'm just looking at each year is like something crazy.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to give like a picture of just, every few years what's going on in the world. Unlike anything that the world had experienced prior to. Really happening beginning in 70 AD.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, there's another one in England. There was a comet fell from the earth, opened up Sheol. And it's in here. And
really?
It's called Hell's Gates or something. It's still here today. They actually still visit it today. It's this huge pond. It's filled with water now, but it's a huge pond, and they don't know how deep it is. They've tried to figure out how deep it is. They can't find the bottom of it. But you can go visit it today. It's pretty crazy.
It says it rained blood in France around 1017 AD. It rained, it looks like people saw it for 30 days and 30 nights altogether.
Wow.
Oh, here you go, 1018, it was a plentiful year. So there you go, there was a good year. There was a good year,
yeah.
And then, excuse me, 1020, people were killed off with a severe cold in the winter. Oh, look at this. In August, a circle like a rainbow divided the transverse, I don't know, by 4 lines was seen above the sun from 3 o'clock to 6. I mean, quickly full of serpents. I mean, it was just great plagues.
Let's keep going. See if there's anything. Yeah.
Okay, in 1059, a comet shown in Poland for some days. A great famine was there as well in the neighborhood of Tournai, I guess in Poland. There were great companies of adders gathered and engaged in a prodigious bloody battle. Great numbers were slain on both sides.
Adders.
Dragons.
This has got to be dragons. I would not see adders. Not everyone's not trying to kill a bunch of copperheads or vipers.
Oh, what is this? The Rex, the whole nation. I don't know what that is.
It was most shocking to see in houses, streets, and highways human carcasses.
There you go. Dissolving into slime?
Dissolving into slime, putrefying with intolerable stench and eaten up with worms, nor is there any left to bury them. Oh, where is this? This is in 1069. Crazy stuff.
I mean, I'm sure, like, it's such a large, I mean, you know, look, this is how far we're in right
We're
now.
not even halfway.
Fiery dragon was seen flying in the air, 1088. Great thunder and lightning, half of the people of England were seized with a violent burning fever, which lasted a year, proved very fatal to multitudes.
And a lot of this you see within, it's all over the world, but you see a lot of this destruction in Italy, you know, in Rome,
In Europe.
Yeah, in Europe, just basically.
Wow. There were falling stars. Hold on a second. There were flashes in 1094, where was this? In England. Armies of fighting men were seen in the air. Flashes of fire falling from the sky. So we think about this today, like we hear these, you know, we talk about the war, you know, raging in heaven.
Sure.
And we'll sometimes, and we've heard this over the years, and we've seen accounts of this, of people hearing these crazy like screams and what sounds like, not like normal thunder in the sky.
And trumpets in the sky.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, you know, nothing new under the sun. But anyway, so in France the day before, sometime in April, stars were seen. I didn't. Okay, I'm sorry. Flashes of fire falling from the sky. Two suns were seen at the same time. Sorry, one at a great distance from the other. In France, the day before the Nones of April in 1095, stars seemed to fall at midday. A Frenchman observed the place where one fell, went and poured water on it. It seemed hot and hissed. An earthquake and a hurricane at midnight did great mischief. I would need to be in so much therapy.
Yeah, this is crazy, yeah.
Besides the falling of stars on St. Ambrosius Day at night, which fell thick and These
are the stars falling.
Yeah, they fell thick from heaven all night that it was impossible to count them. There were many terrible tempests this year, excessive summer rains, corn and fruits in many places were not good. It was a bad harvest.
And this happened in the 1800s as well.
All rivers were
falling.
Yeah. You want to read that one?
Fiery battles. This is 1099. Fiery battles were seen in the air where the noise of fighting armies were heard. Bloody arms were visible in the air. Cities besieged. Fiery darts. Infants spoke in the womb. Bread broken, poured out blood. Great swarms of unknown flies in many countries. A fiery dragon spewing fire out of his mouth flew through the midst of heaven. The sun and moon were darkened. Stars seemed to fall to earth. Crazy.
I mean, so what? Like, why are we going through this? Like, why are we going page to page? It's like, you know, you could say, "Oh, this is hogwash," as my mom would say. But why would this guy spend this much time just, you know, putting out false historical? Like, why would he do that?
This guy's a doctor too. You can do your research on Thomas Short. It's pretty amazing. He's written a lot of books. Pretty incredible books. He's got a herb book that's really incredible. I've tried to find.
It wouldn't even get published if this was false, in my opinion. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Many people aren't even reading it. I mean, I think it's, you know, I mean, it takes a lot to go through this and read Old English too. I mean, we've gotten used to it over the years, but.
This is interesting. 1109. The sun appeared with 4 visible circles. I think I'd read that already once before. On the first day, I can't read this. An uncommon star was seen in the west for 25 days and shined at the same hour. I can't read that because sometimes the ink is like, then the reprint is like smudged. Something met it from the east. Morning, they were seen 2 moons, one in the east, one in the west. Shortly after, a comet shined forth brightly. Blood is said to have run out of bread broken at.
What's up with that? The bread broken and blood runs out.
We're around 1107. I really wanted to read this. This is interesting. This caught my eye because I was just telling you how it just seems like the sun, moon, and stars, all the luminaries are out of control right now.
Yeah, this whole time. Yeah.
Completely out of control. Not even sure what they're supposed to be doing. And then here we read that there were uncommon phases of the moon, increasing and decreasing contrary to her ordinary course. In the east, a black comet was seen for 40 days together at the beginning of the night, which had a long tail. And then a rainbow with its proper colors was seen about the sun. So, and then just a couple years later.
That's interesting too. I'm sorry, with the moon.
Yeah.
Changing its
course.
its course and its different phases. I don't know. That's interesting. Like, did something mess up here? Because obviously the moon is not a perfect. Well, I don't know. Enoch writes about it not being perfect, so I don't know that I agree with that. But
I don't know. I'm trying to kind of get. I mean, the moon was blood red.
I mean, there's so much here. Like, we can't even, like, I'm just looking. There's earthquake. There's small birds and oxen, Jerusalem, and a famine from locusts.
I just read that too. That there were fish in the sea that were all dead. Birds were flying, or were falling dead out of the sky. We've seen that too. I think we used to watch a YouTube account called Jason A. back when I think we were coming to a lot of the,
Yeah, I mean, those were small instances, but
small instances though of where we were seeing like just dead, like complete just death, and that was like on a small scale. Yeah. I mean, goodness, noonday was turned to dark night. Again, a lot of earthquakes happening around the same time that eclipses were happening of the sun. It was, they were overthrowing. I mean, same thing as we're seeing today with the earthquakes, but I feel like it was on a much larger scale. In 1133, I mean, I'm just in the 1100s. The moon was 27 days old. Many stars were seen at the same time. Several ships were terribly tossed and damaged without windstorm or a visible cause. Like, what was going on there? There's a lot of two moons being seen in the sky.
And two suns. It says the sun appeared like a new moon, sometimes broader, sometimes smaller, sometimes crooked, sometimes straighter. Sometimes it stood still. Other times it moved forward and seemed like quicksilver. Moved and liquid. Some said the sun was eclipsed, which, if true, it must have been in the dragon's head and the moon in his tail. In the fifth sign, in the lion, the moon was 27 days old. Many stars were seen the same time. It was just crazy. This is in 1133.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to maybe like 1200.
Let's see. It said the souls. Yeah, this is Hell's Kettles. That's what I was talking about. Hell's Kettles is still inside England. This is when a star fell from heaven. I mean, there's just so much. Hopefully it's interesting because it's just like, because I can't. I mean, we could sit here and read this whole thing, every single paragraph, every single year. There's something insane happening.
Every year. I mean, because it's going 1197. I mean, like okay, 1197, terrible earthquake. Okay, well that of course that happened. It happens now. But it's like hailstones, like it rained blood. I'm sorry, it rained blood in England, and we've seen that I think today too. Rivers turn to blood and things like that. I mean, every single year there's
that's still happening today. A lot of time. We didn't read any of the hailstones. I didn't see them, but there is an account of hailstones that couldn't fit in your hand. So that big hailstones, possible 100-pound hailstones that we read about in Revelation, said it destroyed all of Britain, and there's a bunch of other places. I mean, there's just crazy stuff.
In 1215, two different moons appeared with horns open. Two comments in on 1214.
I would say the horns open is probably a crescent moon, so two crescent moons appeared.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah.
And there's people saying now they're seeing two suns, three suns. I thought I saw two suns the other day, so I had to. Of course, I couldn't really. It's hard to see it unless you like kind of blinded yourself. You I should have used those glasses. Yeah, but it appeared like there's two suns. Dragons were seen in the air. What does it say? In April was a prodigious snow, which broke down many trees. A frost coming upon it killed far more. So many places, no leaves appeared on them. That summer, no apples in most places. After this, so great a drought that most late sown seed died. Fiery dragons were seen in the air, flying and fighting. On Holy Rood Day was a terrible and destructive thunder and lightning with profound rains, long and deluging floods. I mean, just crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and here we've got in England we've got
It's 1222.
1222. We've got a great earthquake that took place. It shook a town for 2 months.
Wow.
It shook the town. Now we see, like what are they called? Not the tremors, but what happens afterwards after an earthquake? What are those things called? Tremors. But they last for just a few seconds. Aftershocks, yeah. But it says there were thousands killed from it. I mean, I've seen that. I mean, there's been hundreds, but I mean, it's just you're constantly seeing thousands of people being killed from things like this.
Yeah. I will say that during this time, during kind of from like 500-ish to 1500-ish, that time frame, it seems like there's a lot of signs in the sky. So it seems like there's a lot of blood moons, a lot of eclipsing of the sun, multiple suns seen, multiple moons, comets, things like that. You had a lot of death kind of from Yeshua all the way into the 500s. And then all of a sudden, the 1400s, you have a ton more death. It seems that the world's killed off, and then there's signs in the sky, and then the world's killed off again.
Is there anything else? You were talking about this once before about what part of this is like. There's a large part of this dedicated to.
Sure, a good fourth of the book is dealing with from 1400 to to about 1600. So this says people died so fast they digged great pits in churchyards and filled them with heaps of dead carcasses. This is in 1258. What I find that interesting is for the catacombs, but I actually don't think that's why the catacombs are made. I think they are
made for the saints.
Yeah, I think they are saints. I think they're the resurrected. There's many places where the bones are left when the resurrected come. So.
What was that gospel at Calais?
In September 11th, about midday, was an earthquake which threw down Glastonbury Church. Gospel Clay comes from Glastonbury.
Oh, okay.
So would have been, I don't know. I think that's why I wrote that.
I mean, we're just in the 1200s. It seems like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, we're skipping so much.
Sudden great darkness in the sky, followed by a great parching drought and heat. Almost all the greens died. Then came great and long rains. Hence began a famine that continued for 20.
Famine in England.
A famine in England. I'm sorry, for 23 years.
Wow.
Could you imagine a famine?
Yeah. For 23 years. I mean, there's so much.
Oh, there's great scarcity of wine.
Oh, no. Yeah, and it seems like, okay, so I mean, we're going into...
You're in the 1300s now.
Yeah, 1300s, but I'm reading a bunch of stuff where animals are killed off. It looks like there's a problem with farming. I saw husbandmen weren't working. So terrible was the famine for 2 years. Before that, they only ate horses,
only
horses and dogs, but men and children were stolen for food. Wow. All malting through the kingdom was. All malting throughout the kingdom was forbidden, even for the king's family. Malting, maybe like malt beverages.
Yeah,
but let not the reader be mistaken that when wheat was sold at 10 D a bushel, it was so very cheap. Oh man,
$10 a bushel.
Yeah, I mean, this could be like this makes me think of the second horseman of the four horsemen. Was putting a scales on and not to touch the oil or the wine. It's very interesting. I mean, there's so much here.
You might want to read some of this. You've got like 100 arrows.
Yeah, this is all going to. This is all. So now we're in the 1300s, 1346, and like I said, some of these dates, according to whoever you read, the historians, they're a little different concerning this, because I know that a lot of people put this in the 1400s. It just depends where who you're reading, But this says, and so we are now come to the third general plague after our Savior, which certainly was the greatest and most universal and mortal, Noah's flood excepted, that ever ravaged this globe. He's a glober, unfortunately, but I think this is incredible that.
Everyone's gonna discount him now.
Yeah, I know. I think it's amazing. He's saying this is the third plague after Messiah. We read about the first one. It was like this in the first century, and the second one was around the 500s, 600s, and now we have another one here in in 1346.
Hmm.
It said it never had a parallel before nor since, and we may observe it that we have a more particular history of it than of any that preceded it.
Hmm.
For it is visited every inhabitant for you want to read this?
Where is it?
For as it visited every inhabited corner of the earth, so every nation or people that understood letters kept records of it.
Yeah.
Let's see, universal previous warnings given of its uprising. Well, mankind had sufficient notices of its approach from all the elements as was from the specialty of its rise. So I think it's talking about all the things that had happened beforehand. They were being warned, just like us now. I think we're being warned, especially with the eclipses from America that we've had. These we've had three solar eclipses in the last 7 years. But they've made an exit from America. I think there is something coming. I think we've been warned.
Yeah. This is interesting. The monks.
Yeah.
Sorry, before that.
Oh, that was just something to look up. Yeah, we have 12 million monks died. In Ireland in Dublin, we're seeing 2 moons at once. Crazy stuff. 12 million people, 12 million monks.
Not just people.
Well, it's calling them barefooted monks. The barefooted monks died. 12 million monks. Why monks? So this is the same plague 2 years later. It says, by particular detail of the general and particular premonitors of this judgment and the particular sufferings of the clergy by it were too great a subject for one whole volume. Soon after the raining of blood at Lamech, it began at Catia, and in the neighborhood near the Great Sea. But whether it arose in India, Scythia, Tartaria, or Arabia, it went sweeping along to the Indians, Tartarians, Saracens, Turks, Syrians, Palestinians, Persians, Egyptians, Ethiopians, Africans, and the parts about Tunis and Trefadon. So I did read about this. I think this is amazing too, that he lists he keeps on going and lists all the places where this plague went. It didn't seem to hit Israel. I haven't found any evidence of
That is interesting.
What I think is being referred to as the bubonic plague here, or the Black Death, reaching Israel. Now, Israel might not have been inhabited that much. I do think it was. I mean, they were fighting over it for centuries, and it was the kingdom of Jerusalem here that was owned. During this time, it would have been owned by the Templars. But very interesting, and Tartaria seems to be here mentioned as receiving part of the plague. It had not fully finished its perambulation over the world before 60 or 62. If it was so favorable as to leave a third part of men alive in some few places. In others, it took 15 out of 16. In more, it utterly extirpated the human race and laid waste some places as Arthumacia. In the eastern parts died in 1 year 23,840,000 in the eastern parts. That's crazy.
A lot of people.
Yeah, in the eastern parts we're talking about. This is not even. I don't know if he's referring to Europe, but he did mention Tartaria, which would have been in the northern kind of area, and he might be talking about kind of the Middle East because he did mention the Turks, Syrians, so in the Ethiopians. I don't know, but 23 million people died just in the eastern parts in 1 year. The Venetians lost 100,000. In Florence died in 1 year 6,000. In Germany died, 1 million people, 1,244,000. Out of Yarmouth died 7,000. So this is just in 1 year. It just keeps going. Kind of 15 days drink together. I mean, we could just keep going with it.
We're almost close to the 1400s, so.
Yeah. This is amazing too. It's like a bunch of people died, and says it was trumped up the story of the Jews poisoning all the springs in England. I think this
The
is
Jews did it.
well. I think this is crazy because you find this, and this has something to do. The only reason I want to talk about this because this is kind of what I see, kind of the mainstream doing. Not mainstream. I think the mainstream truthers doing right now is kind of positioning the Jews as the problem here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're not, but this is just a repeat of history. The same thing Nero's doing, blaming the Jews for all the problems. And I read something today where they were doing it. I think it was Justinian. Yes, Justinian was blaming the Jews for a lot of the problems they were experiencing in Italy. And here they are. England's blaming the Jews for poisoning the springs. Maybe they were, but history is repeating itself right now, you know. This is where the legs are turning black. It's talking about the how it happened. Legs were turning black. Just crazy stuff. I mean, some of this I don't even want to read. It's disgusting. But your tongue turned black. The lips and nose turn black. I mean, guys, it just keeps going on and on. On and on. And it's talking about different ways. It said juniper berries helped it. If you ate juniper berries, we have a lot of juniper berries. Spitting up blood, just all these things. This is interesting too. It says April the 20th, the church of Sienta, this is in 1359, was beaten down by thunder and lightning. Much people were slain and hurt, being at the sacrament. Many mothers and deformed children were born. A great death of childbed women. I don't know why I wrote that. I think that was... so this is really interesting too. This is in 1386, says, or 1385, May 3rd on May 3rd, an earthquake. This month, a conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. July 3rd, another earthquake. So this was prophesied. It's kind of interesting. I did look this up on Stellarium. There's another place where this is written. It was in the hagiography reports that we've sourced before. We talked about on this channel that were put out. I don't know how many of y'all are actually searching that out and looking for that stuff. But I am trying to search a lot of those resources out. Some you can't find, but a lot of them I have found. This was supposedly by those in the monasteries and those trying to get to paradise into New Jerusalem. They wrote this and did a lot of studying of the Millennial Kingdom, saying that this was going to be the end of the Millennial Kingdom. This was going to be the sign that the devil was going to be released, was the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. So this was supposed to be the end of the MK. So this is in 1386. I do believe there was another one in the 1400s. So kind of interesting. I don't know if that has any validity to it, but I think it is interesting that there was a conjunction there. But guys, I mean, we could go on and on. I mean, I have no Jews died of it. 1500s, there's another sickness. No Jews died.
Interesting.
Let's see, 1544, a great eclipse of the sun and 3 of the moon the same year. I mean, there's so much here. Let's see if our Earth began to... Anyways, we done?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Well, I hope that was interesting. I wish that it's kind of hard to just kind of go through and just pick little things here and there, because you really just need to read the whole book. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
There's so much, especially when we want to validate some of the things that have happened. I think the biggest thing, for just reading this, the only reason we're reading these things is because one of the biggest, people going against the Millennial Kingdom happen, or this idea, is saying, hey, when did these things happen? These things in Revelation haven't happened. Clearly, most of these things that we read about in Revelation, these horrible events on earth, clearly it seems that they have happened, or at least we have some evidence of something happening.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's the fulfillment of those or not, I don't know. but at least we have some evidence just in this book alone, and we're not even sourcing what the other books that have talked about this. When I find a crazy event in a historical book, I go back to this book and see if this had lined up with the chronological account in here. And more times than not, I find it in here as well, by a different historian, because this does source some of the historians that they're getting it from. So it's pretty amazing that we have multiple historians talking about the same events throughout history. So anyways, get this book. Check it out online for free and read it and do some research. I think it's incredible. And so what are we expecting now? Some crazy events, I think, very soon to come. And we've known this. We've been woken up to this 8 years ago, at least 8 years ago. Yah has woken up his people. So anyways, is that it?
That's it.
All right. Shalom.
Bye.